Sukuna is cooking everyone with Fuga.
Oh my god! Okay, it's happening!
Yuji's body is trained to fight and used curse techniques like a special grade sorcerer now. This is why he will be able to grasp concepts at lightning speed, starting with Kusakabe's simple domain, which Yuji uses to battle Sukuna's domain. Like teacher, like student. This comparison is very accurate because just like Gojo realized the difference between his and Sukuna's curse technique usage, Yuji also instantly remarks that he can tell the domain is incomplete. He realized that despite the destructive barrage, there must certainly be some opening in the barrier and that everyone needs to endure this onslaught. As he says this, Choso, Ino, Maki, Miwa, everyone on the battlefield tries to make it through this attack, but Yuji's simple domain falls apart. Hence, Sukuna's slashes instantly cut his leg apart, but our boy is the embodiment of never giving up. Even though he just had his foot cut off, he uses blood manipulation to pull the leg back in and regenerate it back together using RCT. As it's revealed, Gojo created a unique RCT relay which spread out the toil it took on his brain, hence making it easy for him to heal himself. So you know what that means? The one who can make any impossible task possible might just be able to revive himself completely with the help of Shoko. But Gege being Gege instantly throws the copium right out the window when it's revealed there are cases where the cursed energy of the one healing rejects the process, and also cases where the cursed energy of the one being healed doesn't respond to the conversion. This is the Jujutsu equivalent to using compatible organs, blood types, and more when doctors explain life-saving operations. So yeah, take that as you will. This is something Choso showcased you could do against Kenjaku, and that's when we learn that there's some hope after all. The rush of binding vows that Sukuna created to use his domain has a limit, 99 seconds. Within this time limit, Malevolent Shrine will collapse once and for all, but Sukuna realizes there are too many ants crawling around him who have the courage to disrespect him and expect to live to see another day, which is why he's repaying the favor by using Fuga. Shokugeki no Sukuna is here because he's just summoned flames to cook everyone, and I mean literally, because the malevolent kitchen is open for business. You see, shrine can also be read as kitchen in Japanese because they are both mizushi, and it also has the old kanji for kitchen. The term tsushi was originally used to mean a storage for cooking utensils. Moreover, Sukuna's last command means kitchen stove, and when we combine that with his Fuga command using the kanji for open, the full chant is Kamino Fuga, which means furnace opens. Hence, Malevolent Shrine is being referred to as the kitchen of overwhelming death appears. This also ties in with how Sukuna has used cooking metaphors multiple times in the story, such as calling Gojo a fish on a cutting board and slicing up his scales. He also called Gojo and Kashimo Zeitaku, which means greedy, but also luxurious, extravagant, as if craving caviar instead of the normal tuna, and saw Yuta as the main meal. In fact, all he's missing is something to wash this delicacy down with and give him the energy to keep fighting his ops. Luckily, by using code ABD on Gamersubs for a limited time only, he can enjoy free shipping on a nice big order. On top of this, Gege himself stated in the fanbook that Sukuna chose Iraume as his servant because she can cook really well. I guess Sukuna is just a biblically accurate Gordon Ramsay in Hell's Kitchen. I 100% expect to see this in the next chapter.
What are you? An idiot sandwich.
But by looking at this holistically, Sukuna's love for eating, his 2 knives imagery for slashes, the specialized fire, and even having a personal chef all point to the fact that his curse technique is literally cooking, slashing and cutting up the enemies and flames to cook and burn them. Your curse technique depends on yourself and how you understand things. Before Sukuna was born, the first thing he did was chomp down on his twin brother, and so as he's been eating since literally the beginning of his life, it explains why his technique is all to do with food. No, seriously, let me cook. Or should I say, let Sukuna cook, as he sees his opponent as plates of food, hence why his usage of cutting is so easygoing. You compare this to Yuji's interpretation of the same technique, and he needs instructions on where to cut neatly. Sukuna uses it to just carelessly tear apart his food, whilst Yuji is delicate to not harm others. Speaking of which, he will definitely use these flames as his sure hit attack now. He might be able to manipulate the fire to take another shape, like how he manipulated Cleave into spider thread threads, or so that he can land as much severe damage as possible all at once. Rather than using an arrow, he might just burn the whole area up so that even if his opponents are not dead, they'll be out of commission for good, and then he can just mess around with them like the insects they are. But if you want to enjoy even more peak fiction, watch this video about how Kafka became the strongest kaiju ever